Hello, I'm Kats, and welcome to today's video. Well, it turns out I was completely wrong in my prediction for this hero's path here. There was not a sacred Pogo near the end or for the last 2 days, but nonetheless, it was still the best deal relative to my goals on my account. So we are still going to be pulling some shards today in pursuit of all 75 of the fragments for the fusion, for the epic, for the fusion for Sanguine Maria. If we go ahead and take a look at the Halloween path itself, you can see there I've collected 10,200 points thus far, and that is entirely from, or mostly from the Dungeon Divers aspect of it, but also just some mystery shards because there's a champion training event, as you can see there, going on as well. So there is a decent amount of overlap with the Spider tournament that has already ended by the time of this recording. Fire Night started today, and so I've been doing some of that this evening, and then of course champion training. You can see there I'm pretty far along for the first couple of days here, so basically at 9,000 points, so almost done basically. But yeah, lots of campaign has been run, lots of dungeon have been run, and some amount of mystery shards have been pulled to get food to be running in the campaign. So all of that has amassed me 10,200 points, and that leaves me needing about 36,000-ish points to get all the way out into the 75 fragments in total. And the way we're going to be doing that is by getting a little bit spicier than the usual. So as I've mentioned many times over the past month or two, I am still in Sacred Mercy, so I'd like to preserve that in hopes of a Sacred Pogo. Obviously my hopes were dashed for this particular event, having a Sacred Pogo and taking advantage of that, but nonetheless there should hopefully be one sometime soon. I really do hope. I don't want to hold out on Sacreds forever. But yeah, we are going to be pulling 2 sacred shards that will get us, 2 deeper into Mercy. Hopefully we don't get a legendary, but if we do, then so be it. And then we just sacrifice whenever the Pogo is. Watch it be like next week or something. But the bulk of it's going to be ancient shards once again. Same logic as we did for the Dorcus path. We're going to be pulling 90 ancients in total, and then the 2 sacreds to kind of round it all out. Now, obviously for my situation, I could do this entirely with ancient shards. I think it would be around 120-ish or so. But I opted to kind of split it between the two different shard types because of course 2x ancient starts tomorrow, and because there is a progressive chance going on for some champions there, so I wouldn't mind just pulling a handful over the weekend as well, just to see if we can get lucky during the 2x. Popping into the portal, let's take a look at the overall shard count, my account at the moment. So we have 463 on the ancients, which of course we'll be diving into today, 170 on the void, 69 on the primals, nice, and then 63 on the sacreds, which we'll also be dipping into a little bit today. We're going to skip the wish list for today because the plan is not really to get a legendary. Obviously there are no boosted rates going on right now for any of these types of shards. There's also no progressive chance or anything like that, so there's not really a place to focus our RNG. We're just trying to get all of the fragments for the fusion from the path. So without further ado, let's get right into the shard pull, starting off with the 2 sacreds. I don't have a ton of space. We're going to be pulling into the reserve vault, but we do have tons of cash, and like I said, we don't really care about RNG for today. So let's see if we can hopefully get our 2 epics from the 2 sacreds. We got Masked Fearmonger, an absolutely trash epic, so not much to say about him. And then, whew, all right, another epic as well. We're on the Silken, decent support healer. Maybe is she a healer? Maybe not. I guess a heal on the person she revives, but she is a reviver for the Sylvan Watchers if you're really desperate to make that work. She's a speed booster. That's what it is. Turn meter fill, increased speed on a 4-turn cooldown, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, she's a reviver for Sylvan Watchers, so if you do need her for that purpose, she can definitely work. However, I do think that Tree Shield Knot, who's a rare, void rare notably, but nonetheless a rare, is arguably better than her with his 2 champion revive and his healing in his kit. Now let's move on to the ancients. We have 9 at 10 pops to go, and thankfully for the sake of my Sacred Mercy, we did not get a legendary there, so we're ever closer to get hold on, legendary. We're fresh off of Mercy for ancient shards as well, and we got Astrolith, who, believe it or not, has been on my tertiary wish list for a very, very long time. This is honestly good for me. I think Pan the Bowhorn might be new as well. I think it was used for a fusion in the past, but I actually have a copy of him. So, oh, awesome! This is great. I've been on a pretty lucky, pretty decent luck streak recently when it comes to these ancient shards, and I guess void shards as well. But why did I want her so bad? She has a nice speed in arena battle aura, speed in arena battles aura, 28%. But mainly this, it's a bomb that detonates after 1 turn when you ascend it, and they and 2 bombs that detonate after 1 turn, and they cannot be resisted. So you don't need any accuracy at all whatsoever to land her 2 bombs, and then you could pair her with a debuff spreader. At least in the old meta, you could pair her with a debuff spreader and spread the irresistible bombs to all targets or all enemies, and then they would just die. So you stack her up with a decent amount of speed, a good amount of attack, and you run her in the right team, and you can just blow up a single target, or you can spread it around and blow up multiple targets. So sweet. Astrolith has finally come to my account, but she also has this annoying like HP swap thing. But you know, and her this a passive effect. It'll give her an extra turn when she gets low if she's not dead. But you're probably not going to see much of that in play in practice. But yeah, decent champion, at least in the niche of bombs and potentially spreading that around. So we'll definitely take it. That's awesome. 10 pop number 1. Very, very lucrative. Mercy, I guess, is reset when it comes to ancients. But we have 8 more 10 pops to go here. But yeah, as I was trying to say, the good fortune there for the Sacred Shards is that we didn't proc Mercy, so we're still in contention for a Sacred Pogo if it does happen to come. Hopefully, it does in the near term. But Zhurojin, not much to say about him, unfortunately, not that exciting for an epic. However, some people do swear by him for utility, I should say, in the Cursed City on some certain stages. This next 10 pop number 3, we've got Tayrel. AoE decreased defense champion for the high elves. That's basically his one niche. Unfortunately for him, it's on a 4-turn cooldown, and they're not, at least Plarium has come out to say that they're not going to be buffing any epics, so we're probably not going to see that change anytime soon, which is quite unfortunate. But nonetheless, he does the job for that faction. Sanguinia, notable, decent, I think she's Sacred Order? Yeah, Sacred Order. She's a decent cleanser. You can make her work in that fashion. She also has a triple hitter on the A1, so she could be good for some Cursed City Fire Knight variations as well. Get rid of the decreased defense and decreased speed, depending on if it's hard mode or normal mode, Fire Knight variations. But yeah, she could definitely work continuous heals and block debuffs as well to protect your team. 10 pop number 5, I believe. I'm losing count here, but we can double check. We know how much we started with. But Endalia, Lady Mikage Epic, that's basically her one claim to fame. I guess honorable mention there for Bowsmith Flannan. I do like to run him in the Cursed City as well in a stun set. Claude Beast Feeder, decent champion. I think I showcased him in a video of dealing with the Frost Spider, increase accuracy, increase speed, so he can be kind of one of your starter champions to help you get started if you don't have the stats to get going on against the Frost Spider, because you do need a decent amount of accuracy to deal with her. All right, I backed out here just to double check the math, and yes, we pulled 60 so far, so 6 10 pops, 3 more 10 pops to go. So let's keep it going here. We've already hit our good fortune for the day, so honestly, just keep the rares coming. Keep all the rares. Yep, this should be it. All blues. There you go. That's more like it as far as a non-2x going on right now, of course. So 2 more 10 pops to go, and then we can call it a day here and collect all of our fragments from the Hero's Path. Another epic Scion. He's also a daily login reward champion. You could technically use him in Amius because he does have hero reduction, but I don't think he's one of the strongest champions for that. But I guess it depends who you have and who's available for the specific rotation where he could be used. But there you go. There's the 90 Ancients, and that should get us all the way to where we needed to get, which if these pop-ups will go away, there we go. We should be at, 46,000. I think it's 250 to be precise. So we're basically bang on exactly where we need to be. So let's go ahead and get down to the fragments. I think I wanted to grab the coins here. I wanted to grab the charms. I want to grab the Plarium points. Yep. Grab some of these. Got to work toward that Sersha to get her in the 3 more years. So we have to come down here, grab the first key, do the same thing on the right hand side, grab the XP, grab the relic fragments. I do like the chaos ore there. Grab the other key, so that is both keys secured. We come through here. I'm not sure which glyph I prefer. Maybe accuracy, so we'll go through the core hammers, I guess. Not really that important. I have a decent amount of 5-star glyphs already, but there we go. We get the first set of fragments. We open the second one. We get the 4-star basalt, which is pretty nice. And then 1 and 2. Perfect. So 12. Perfect session here. Not bad. Overshooting by only 12 points, and we managed to get all of the fragments there. And of course, again, we got lucky with a random, within 10 shards of the last legendary from Ancient Shards. We might as well take a look at her, but in the index here. But yeah, Astrolith is new on my account. Like I said, she was on my tertiary wish list. I've wanted her for a long time, and now I'm kind of excited to build her out. I don't know. We'll see what I can come up with. I think, forever ago, years ago, I phantom built her in triple cruel or double cruel and speed, just kind of focusing on speed and attack. and just kind of, you know, being a bomb champion. But maybe, you know, in the more modern era, I mean, I guess it would be nice to run her in pinpoint, but I'm fairly confident that I don't actually have the pinpoint gear to spare to put on her for that purpose. But I'll double check. We'll have to see about that in the future. But let's claim that red dot. But yeah, any champion like this, albeit niche, they just help improve my flexibility when it comes to certain things or countering certain teams in the arena. So because I do have a 2 Hanorok on my account, obviously Vizera Ovelis could work as well, but I don't have him. But I do have a debuff spreader on my account, so I could definitely make that team work where she's places bombs and spreads them around, so that can definitely do some damage. And I think that means that I have all now of the legendary bomb champions. Like I have War Mother as well, obviously the 2 fusions, Nishak and Gaius, and I've pulled Lord Shazar in the past. So I think that completes my collection. So I have all the bomb champions at my disposal, which is fantastic. All right, so there you have it. Unexpected luck strikes once again, and we'll definitely take it. But yeah, the real goal was accomplished. We've got all of the fusion fragments from the hero's path, meaning that I now have the flexibility to skip a couple of the events. Obviously, I've already skipped the initial summon rush, so I already owe 25 of the 75 towards that. 25 was already needed in general just to complete the fusion, so I do have one extra set of 25 that I will most likely use to skip the second and final dungeon divers, because that is obviously the biggest energy / gem sink. So there's a lot of extra flexibility now that I have when it comes to completing this fusion. If you're curious how far along I am in the fusion, this brings us up to 275. So I should over the weekend be able to get the last 25 there, meaning that I during the champion chase that starts tomorrow, at least at the time of this recording, I will be able to summon 3 of the epics, the void epics, for the sake of the fusion. So that's a guaranteed 10,050 points towards the champion chase, which should bring me around a third of the way there. But this is also a hybrid style fusion, and notoriously or historically those have been a relatively easier milestone in the champion chase, so it could be down there close to 1,500 points. And so maybe I may not even need to pull any ancients at all. If we're that close, I might just do like a relic keeper and maybe some mystery shards and call it a day. So we'll kind of see, play that by ear. But that's for future me. Current me is very, very happy with the champion that he's pulled for today. And of course, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you also pulled some of your shards for the sake of the hero's path. Did you also adopt the approach of skipping the initial summon rush and focusing your shards on this event and or the champion chase that's coming up over the weekend? And of course, let me know if you got anything good from any shards you may have pulled. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as well, if and only if you're enjoying the content overall on this channel for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.